Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. We had a problem with the audio and we are starting the lesson again. Please don't miss it. I'm starting with the circular motion. We know that if an object is moving along a circular path at constant speed, then three things we know or we have to keep in mind. One is the resultant force acting on the object which is moving along a circular path at constant speed. The resultant force is directed always towards the center of the circular path. Acceleration of the object is always towards the center of the path. And the velocity of the object, speed, it is moving along the circular path, speed is constant, but speed, because speed is a scalar quantity, it doesn't need direction. So moving along the circle, it is moving along the circular path at a constant speed. But its velocity is a vector quantity, needs direction. So at any point, this direction of the velocity is along the straight line, which is along the tangent to the circle. You know, tangent means a line which touches the circle at that particular point. So it is along a line which is tangent to the circle. Okay. I'm starting the first question. What keeps an electron moving in a circle around the nucleus of an atom? We know electron is negatively charged and nucleus is positively charged. So force between electron and the nucleus are opposite and equal, and that force is electrostatic force. Electrostatic force is the one which is due to the charges. I'm not going on the option first. First, I'm deciding what to do. I know electron is moving around the nucleus because of electrostatic force, and that force has a resultant towards the center. So that's what I'm going to find in the options. First option says the gravitational force. I'm not considering it because it's not gravitational force. Second says gravitational force. I'm neglecting it as well. Third says electrostatic force away from the nucleus. Force is not away, it's towards. So D is your option. Number 2. Now the plane is turning along a circular path. So it's a horizontal circle. It is not going up or down. It is moving horizontally at a constant height. So it is tilting towards the left. So center of the circular path will be towards the left, is towards D. So force on the plane will be, resultant force on the plane will be towards D. This option is D. Again, number 3, in a model of atom, electron moves in a circular orbit around the nucleus. Which statement about the electron is correct? Electrostatic force on the electron is away from the nucleus, wrong. Acceleration of the electron is towards the central nucleus, it is correct. So B is the option. Number 4, a particle P is moving in a horizontal circle about O, P is moving at a constant speed. Which statement is true? A force of constant magnitude acting in the same direction as V? No. A force of constant magnitude acting towards O. This is the correct answer. So B is your option. Number 5, center of the circle is given to you. Car is moving at a constant speed around a circular path. So resultant force is towards the center. That is B. So B is your option. Number 6, the diagram shows a motorcyclist leaning over in order to move in a circular corner. He is leaning towards the left. So it means center of the corner is towards the left. Which force causes it to move around the corner? That is the force towards the center. A is the force towards the center. So remember, if it is leaning towards the left, it means the center of the circular path is towards the left. So the only force toward the left is A, that keeps it moving along the circular path. Number 7, Earth travels in a circular orbit around the sun at constant speed. I know if it is traveling at a constant speed, then force is towards the R, acceleration is towards the R, that is the sun, and velocity is along the Q. He says which arrows show the direction of the acceleration of the Earth and direction of velocity. So direction of acceleration is towards R and direction of velocity is to along Q. That is tangent to the circle. So R and Q. D is your option. I am skipping some questions. Number 12. A body P moves in a circle around a point S. So P is moving about S. Force F keeps it moving in the circle. What happens if the force F suddenly disappears? Remember, when the force disappears, P will go towards the left in a straight line. It will go towards the left in a straight line. That is the direction of the velocity of P. So P will go in the direction of velocity. It will go in a straight line towards the left. So answer is D. P goes off in a straight line. First 3 answers are wrong. D is your option. As I'm saying, P will go to the left along the direction of the velocity, and that is the direction of the tangent to the circle. Number 13, a turntable rotates at constant speed. A coin is placed on the turntable at P. The friction force between the coin and the turntable keeps the coin in the same position in the turntable. Remember, when the turntable turns, the coin has a tendency to fall outward. So it will try to fall outward, but the friction between the table and the coin keeps it at its place. So the direction of friction is towards A. Question demanding that in which direction does the friction force X? So friction force X inward, because I know that if the coin moves in a circular orbit along the table, then the force must be acting, resultant force must be acting towards the center, and that is the force of friction. Number 14, a boy sits in the playground roundabout. Roundabout carries the boy in a horizontal anti-clockwise circle at constant speed. What describes the resultant force on the boy? You people know the resultant force will be towards the center. If it is moving along a circular path, resultant force will be towards the center along Y. So option is D. The resultant force is in the direction Y. So I'm not going to discuss all the questions because they're all similar. So let's try the other worksheet. Hooke's law. Okay, next second worksheet is about the Hooke's law, and in Hooke's law, remember, extension and load are directly proportional within elastic limit. If it does not exceed elastic limit, the extension and load are directly proportional, and their graph is a straight line. So when the bend is caused, it means we have crossed the elastic limit. In this case, till the load of 60, as you can see, till here load of 60 Newton, before that the line is straight. So it means after load of 60 Newton, there is a curve in the graph. So limit of proportionality is 60 Newton. Option is C. Number 2, the table shows how the extension of the spring varies with the load. between which two loads would you find the limit of proportionality? Remember, load and extension are directly proportional. There will be constant changes in load and extension. If you look at the first row, there is a change of 2, 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8. So all the changes are constant. If you look at the extension second row, there is a change of 3, 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 15. But here, 15 to 20, there is a change of 5 centimeter. Before that, all the changes in the extension were of 3 centimeter each for 2 Newton change in load. But between 10 Newton and 12 Newton load, there is a change of 5 centimeter. It means limit of proportionality lies here. Somewhere here is the limit of proportionality is between 10 and 12 Newton. Because between 10 and 12 Newton, there is a change of 5 centimeter in the extension. Before, the extension was 3 centimeter. So option is C, between 10 and 12, there is a limit of proportionality. Number 3, a spring balance is calibrated to give a reading in newtons. The graph shows how the length of the spring varies with load. In the graph, horizontally he is showing load in newtons and vertically he is showing length of the spring in centimeters. If you start the beginning of the graph at a zero load, there is a length of 2 centimeter. At zero load, there is a length of 2 centimeter shown along the vertical. It means 2 centimeter is the actual length of the spring without load. At zero load, without any load, graph is showing 2 centimeter length. That is the actual length of the spring. So after that, he says a load causes spring of the balance to extend by 3 centimeter. So I have to see the extension of 3 centimeter. So from 2 to 5, there is an extension of 3 centimeter. Before 0 to 2 is the actual length of the spring, that is without any load. But as we put load, the extension of 3 Newton, extension of 3 centimeter means we have to consider a 3 centimeter length, a 5 centimeter length, further 3 centimeter extension. So at 5 centimeter length, look at the load, that is 15 Newton. So the 15 Newton load causes the extension of 3 centimeter. 15 Newton load causes extension of 3 centimeter. There is a 3 centimeter extension. Before that, first 2 centimeters was the actual length of the spring. So 15 Newton load जो है वो 3 सेंटीमीटर की एक्सटेंशन कॉज कर रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से लेंथ 5 सेंटीमीटर पे चली जाती है. So 5 सेंटीमीटर मैं इसलिए देख रहा हूं कि there is extension of 3 centimeter. So the 15 Newton load is your answer. Answer is D. Number 4 is bit complicated. A metal wire initially 100 meter long, extends by 4 meter. There is a load of 2 Newton. बेटा 2 न्यूटन लोड के लिए एक्सटेंशन 4 मिलीमीटर है. So we will make a comparison. आप कॉपी पेंसिल अगर आपके पास हो तो आप लिखेंगे 2 न्यूटन के सामने 4 millimeter. What will be the length of the wire if a further 3 Newton is added? If further 3 Newton added means now load is 5 Newton. Before the load was 2 Newton and extension was 4 millimeter. Further 3 Newton added means load for the load of 5 Newton, we have to find the extension. By cross multiplying, you can see for the load of 2 Newton, extension is 4, and for the load of 5 Newton, the extension will be 10 millimeter. If you compare these two values, for 2 Newton, there is a extension of 4. 9 Newton, what is the extension? If you calculate the extension, it will be 10 millimeter. If you change millimeters into meters, you have to divide by 1000. So that gives you 0.01 meter. Extension is 10 millimeter, but answers are in meters. I have to change the extension into meters. For that purpose, 10 millimeter is divided by 1000. To change it into meters, I'll get 0.01. Added to the actual length, you will get C option, 1.010 meters. Extension was 10 millimeter, but after converting into meters, I have added into actual length, because the question says what will be the length of the wire. So I have to add extension into the original length. That gives me option C. Number 5, a steel spring is stretched by a load. The load is increased. At first extension is proportional to the load. The spring reaches a limit of proportionality at L. Which is the correct graph of the extension against load? You people are familiar with the load extension graph for the Hooke's law. It is option D. Because I know in the beginning it will be a straight line at a certain load at L, limit of proportionality is L. After that, the curve bends towards the extension. Its option is D. All these curves are not matched with the Hooke's law. Number 6, which part of the graph shows limit of proportionality? The limit of proportionality, I know straight line is from the O to P, and after P there is a bend. So P is the limit of proportionality. Option is C. It's very easy. Number 7 says the graph shows the extension of piece of copper wire as the load on it is increased. What does the graph shows? So graph shows a constant extension, and then there is an increase in extension. Means we have exceeded the limit of proportionality. Let's see what does the option says. At a certain load, the wire become easier to extend. This is correct, because after certain load there is a sudden change in the extension. It means the extension has become easier. So option A is the correct option. B says at a certain load the wire becomes harder to extend. No, it is easier to extend. Load and extension directly proportional for N load. It's not directly proportional. After this stage at a curve they are not directly proportional. Fourth D part says they are inversely proportional. Wrong. A is your option. The wire becomes easier to extend after we exceed the limit of proportionality. Number 8 is same as number 4. The only difference is here the measurements are given in millimeters. The actual length of the wire is 1000 millimeter. 4 millimeter extension for 2 Newton load. Further 3 Newton is added, means now your load is 5 Newton. You have to find the extension for 5 Newton. That will be 10 millimeter. So 10 millimeter added to 1000 millimeter gives you 1010 millimeter. Option is C. Number 4 and 8 are same, only the difference is in the units. Number 9, graph shows the extension load curve for 4 fibers. Which fiber is hardest to stretch over range of load? Remember, extension is along the vertical, load is along the horizontal. So D is your option, because the graph of the D is not moving along the vertical. A has gone a very high along the vertical for a small load, and D is showing minimum height. So it is showing minimum extension. For a large load, D is showing minimum extension. So D is hardest to stretch. Number 10 is a bit difficult. You have to pay attention on it. If you have a copy pencil, so keep it with you. 100-gram mass is suspended from the spring next to a vertical meter rule. The top of the spring level is 0.0 centimeter mark. The bottom of the spring level is 27.2 centimeter mark. 100 gram mass is at the spring level is 22.7. 100 gram mass is replaced with 600 gram. Remember, 100 is replaced with 600. The length of the spring is now 89.7. Now again we have to make some comparison. Remember, for 100 gram, the extension was, the spring was showing 27.2. Now we have 600. 600 means we have added 500. For 100 gram, spring was showing level 27.2. 600 gram means you have added 500. And spring is showing 89.7. You have to subtract 27.2 from 89.7 to find the extension for 500 grams. Because we have changed the load from 100 to 600. It means there is a change of 500. And we have to see for the change of 500 grams, what is the change in the extension. That will be 89.7 minus 27.2. For 500 grams, the extension is 62.5. He says 600 gram mass is replaced with 200 gram. The 200 gram means we have make a change of, in 100 gram mass, we have made a change of 100 gram only. What is the length of the spring? I have to find the extension. So remember, for 500 change in the previous case, the extension was 62.5 centimeter. That I found by subtracting 89.7, 27.2 from 89.7. Now I have added 100 gram extra and I have to find extension for that. So if I compare these two quantities, 500 and 62.5, 100 gram with the X, I'll get 12.5 centimeter. 12.5 centimeter extension for 200 gram load, and that 12.5 will be added to 27.2. Your final answer is 39.7. Your C is your option here. So a lot of calculation you need to make here. Number 11, a metal wire is suspended from the spool and loads of different mats are attached to the lower end. Again, look at the table. Masses are changing equally, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Extension 0.35. Then again, there is an extension of 0.35. I add 0.35 to 0.35, you get 0.7. Again, the extension of 0.35. But here there is an extension of 0.45. He says between which values of mass does the limit of proportionality lies? Masses, changes in the masses are equal to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Changes in the extension are 0.35, 0.35, 0.35, but between 6 and 8 kg, there is a change in extension of 0.45. So limit of proportionality lies here, between 6 and 8. C is your option. Number 12. The graph shows how the extension of the spring changes with the masses suspended from it when the spring is on a planet X and when the spring is on a planet Y. As you can see from the graph, masses are given along x-axis, extension along y-axis. On planet X, the extension is very large for a small change in mass. On planet Y, the extension is small. Extension is 30 for a 6 kg, and on planet X, for a 3 kg change in the mass, the extension is 45. So on planet X, the gravitational field is stronger than the Y, because for 3 kg mass, the extension is 45 centimeter, and on planet Y, for a 6 kg mass, there is a extension of 3. If I find the extension per kg for X, extension per kg for X planet, 45 divided by 3. I am finding extension per kg. So I have divided 45 centimeter by 3. It gives me 15 centimeter per kilogram. And if I find for planet Y, I have 30 centimeter for 6 kg. So 30 divided by 6 gives you 5 centimeter per kg. On planet X, we have 15 centimeter per kg. On planet Y, we have 5 centimeter per kg. So the gravitational field strength on planet X is 3 times gravitational field strength on planet Y. So D is your option. Number 13. In the first diagram, two springs are together supporting the load L. Together they are carrying the load L. It means half of L is carried by one spring and half is carried by the other spring. So the extension of the spring is X. In both springs, the extension is X. Now we are putting same load in the second diagram. Same load is attached to these two springs in this manner. In the previous diagram, both springs were supporting each other. They are carrying the half load. Now each spring is carrying full load. Half load was causing extension of 1. Full load will cause the extension double in each spring. So in one spring, there will be an extension of 2x. In other spring, there will be extension of 2x. Extension of 2x in both springs, because they are not having each other. Both are carrying load L. So the total extension of two springs will be 4x. Remember, in the first diagram, both springs were carrying L. It means they were carrying half load. Now each spring is carrying full load. So each spring extension in each spring is 2x. So together the total extension is 4x. Option is D. Number 14, we have done this before. It's a repetition of the question. Number 15, I'm going to discuss. A single spring is loaded with 1 Newton. Single spring, a load of 1 Newton. The load is then increased to 2 Newton. There is extension of 1 centimeter. Single spring for a load of 1 Newton. There is a change of 1 Newton. For a load of 1 Newton, extension is 1 centimeter. Two springs that are identical to the first one are put aside and they are connected both and at both ends, and 1 Newton weight is hung, and then the load is increased to 2. The same is the situation as before. There is a change of 1 Newton load. Again, there is a change of 1 Newton load. Before, the extension was 1 centimeter. Remember, one spring is carrying the load. Now the two springs are carrying load. It means they are carrying half load. So the extension will be half. Together, they both support 2 Newton. It means they are carrying actually 1 Newton each. So their extension will be half than before. So option is A. So new increase X in the extension is 0.5 centimeter, because instead of carrying the full load, both spring together, each carrying half load. Number 16. Number 16, the spring extends by 6 centimeter when a 15 Newton weight is suspended from its lower end. A spring, a single spring, extend 6 centimeter for 15 Newton. It means if we put three springs together, first he says one spring extends 6 centimeter. But if I put three springs together for 50 Newton, they will extend only 2 centimeter each. Because three together carries 50 Newton, they will extend only 2 centimeter. 90 Newton means I have increased the weight 6 times. So the extension will increase 6 times. The 2 into 6 is 12. So 12 centimeter will the total extension. Listen again carefully. If I have a single spring, it will extend 6 centimeter for 50 Newton. I'm not considering this diagram. If I attach 3 springs with the 50 Newton, instead of 6 centimeter, they will extend 2 centimeter because each spring is carrying its share of 5 Newton only. So 50 Newton causes extension of 6 in single spring, but 3 spring will extend only 2 centimeter. In the diagram, the weight is increased to 90, means weight is increased 6 times. The extension will be 6 times. So 2 into 6 gives you 12. So 12 centimeter is your option is B. Number 18. The diagram shows the length of the spring change when the load of 10 Newton is hung on it. Remember, 5 centimeter is the actual length of the spring. When we attach 10 Newton load, the length is 8 centimeter. It means extension is 3 centimeter. Actual length of the spring is 5. After the load of 10 Newton, the length becomes 8. It means for 10 Newton, extension is 3 centimeter. 10 Newton load is replaced by 20 Newton. For 10 Newton, extension was 3. For 20 Newton, the extension will be 6. 6 plus actual length. Total answer is 11 centimeter. So the new length of the spring is 11 centimeter. Listen again carefully. At 5 centimeter is actual length. 10 Newton load, length is 8 centimeter. It means it has caused an extension of 3 centimeter. 10 Newton caused an extension of 3 centimeter. So the 20 Newton will cause an extension of 6 centimeter. So 6 added to 5 gives you 11. So option is B. Number 19. 1 minute. Okay. In number 19, 200 Newton. If you look at the graph, 0, 100 Newton causes an extension of 1, 200 causes an extension of 2 centimeter, 300 causes an extension of 3. Now, a 200 gram mass is replaced for 100 gram mass. What is the new length of the spring? The spring has a 9 centimeter added with a 200 gram mass. So the length of 9 centimeter with the 200 gram extension. Now see, the graph shows 200 extension is 2 centimeter. For 100 extension is 1. So for 200 the extension is 2. Actual length of the spring is 7 centimeter. Actual length of the spring is 7. So 100 gram causes a 1 centimeter change. So 7 plus 1 is 8 is your option. So 8 centimeter B is your option for 100 gram. The new length is 8 centimeter. That's all for today. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, you can ask me in the next session. Not today.